They're here, and they're hungry. Fear is coming up for air. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Classic movie taglines like these tap into our primal fear of the unseen killer. And make no mistake, the creatures that lurk below the surface of a river can be lethal. Sometimes it's just plain good sense to stay out of the water. As an angler, I want to catch and see these killers. A fascination with predators is hardwired into all of us. It's part of our survival mechanism. But as a biologist, I want to go deeper and discover when, why, and how humans can end up on the menu. Sometimes the only way to find out is to get up close and personal. Fish don't have to be huge to be deadly. One of the nastiest ways to die that I can think of is to be eaten alive by a pack of bloodthirsty piranhas. Of all the Amazon's predators, this devourer of flesh is perhaps the most infamous. But does the piranha live up to its deadly reputation? Some years ago, I remember hearing about a bus that crashed into a tributary of the Amazon. The horrifying detail that stuck in my mind was the claim that the victims were almost entirely devoured by piranhas. Having driven through the night, it's possible the exhausted driver fell asleep at the wheel. Whatever the truth, the bus plunges without warning into the river. In the panic, only a handful of people escape. Those who remain trapped face a gruesome fate. More than 30 years after the event, I managed to track down Dirceu Araújo, one of the lucky few who made it out alive. This is the very spot where the accident happened. The bus came down here, went in the river down there. There was a boy there who'd been trying to break the window, and he actually saw this boy's foot, disappearing out of the bus, and he followed it and managed to get himself out through the same hole. He's just about clear of the bus. Somebody grabbed hold of his leg, actually had to kick this person's hand off to get free from the bus. Tragically, 39 others didn't survive. In the panic of his escape, Dirceu doesn't remember seeing any piranhas, so no one knows at what point they attacked. It was several hours before rescuers could winch the bus out of the river. By that time, it was far too late for any remaining passengers.
There
were 3 children and 1 baby, actually all from the same family. They were brought up dead. There was 1 body there, had literally been stripped of all the flesh, only the boots were left. The impact piranhas have on a human body is distinct, and may be too shocking for some viewers to see. These horrific images from recent cases show just what a piranha is capable of doing, and the type of wounds it leaves. Exposed flesh and soft tissue are removed first, making it hard to recognize some victims. The state of the bodies as they were brought out of the bus is something that eyewitness Dora de Barbosa has not forgotten. She told me that some of the victims were brought out, still hugging each other. Dora was just 17 years old at the time of the tragedy, and she just actually started her nurse training at the time, and so she actually went to the river at the site of the accident.
Totalmente o rosto, não tinha nada no rosto, só mesmo nem as cartilagens mesmo tinha, então só os ossos.
that's pretty tragic. Dora says, you know, she did know some of the people on the bus, which just makes it sort of extra horrific, really. That was the husband of a teacher of hers, and she says that he was just, you know, his face was completely eaten away down to, you know, not down to the bone, but down to cartilage. A lad called Ivan, who she liked very much. This was her childhood sweetheart, and he was one of the victims as well. As a result of this, she said she actually, you know, left the area and didn't return for a while because of the memories of the place.
These first-hand accounts suggest that piranhas can be voracious carnivores. But I want to see for myself just how quickly they can strip a carcass.
I've heard all these stories about piranhas being capable of skeletonizing bodies literally within moments or minutes. I've got this freshly killed duck here from the market, and I think it's time to put those stories to the test. Right, they're in there. They're in there already. I just saw a flash of silver with that very distinctive red as well. Right, they're starting to arrive now. Once one finds it, basically, you know, that just kicks the whole thing off. Oh, look at that, go in the head there. They've already just stripped all the flesh from the spine and the neck area. Flip this in and have a look. Oh, right. From the back, this didn't look too bad, but actually flip it over the side where the fish were, and you know, they've made a real mess of that. They've actually chewed through a huge expanse of feather to get at the meat, and they've gone right into the body cavity. The head is just reduced to bone, both eyes are gone, and all this just in a matter of minutes.
Disemboweling a dead duck is one thing, but would piranhas ever tear into a living human? Is it possible those bus passengers were actually eaten alive? It was time for a closer look at this fish.
I've dispensed with my normal rod, and I'm just using a bit of bamboo with a short length of line on the end. Just a hook on the end with a piece of wire so they don't chomp through the line. And piranhas are actually attracted by noise and disturbance on the surface. Oh, there we go. Red belly piranha.
Piranhas are small, but do not be deceived. It has a mouth full of miniature daggers that can easily slice off lumps of flesh. Multiply that by the 100 or so mouths in a hungry school of piranhas, and it's a death by 1,000 individual cuts. A protruding jawbone with large chomping muscles means that when the mouth is closed, the triangular teeth from both jaws lock together like a bear trap. They're perfectly adapted to slice off pieces of meat, fins or scales, literally taking apart their prey piece by piece. They predominantly hunt fish, but they will eat the meat of almost any animal that crosses their path. And in this river, with almost every cast, I'm catching another piranha.
This river is just absolutely full of piranhas. They're just all over the place. Doesn't mean to say, though, that I can't do this. This water may be full of piranhas, but they're not attacking me.
If I can swim here, and if it's true that the victims of the bus crash were eaten alive, then something is missing that is needed to trigger a feeding frenzy.
Still alive.
There's plenty of water here. I'm guessing there's enough food for them down there without them wanting to attack me. So what if I set something up where I know there are plenty of piranhas, and I know they're hungry?
Welcome to my piranha pool.
Here at a local hotel, just like my favourite Bond villain, I've filled a small swimming pool with over 100 red-bellied piranhas, and they haven't eaten for days. It's the perfect opportunity to test just how voracious these creatures are.
Everybody knows about sharks being bloodthirsty killers. Just wondering if piranhas have the same kind of sensitivity to blood.
Piranhas have evolved to live in the murky, sediment-filled waters of the Amazon, where visibility is often less than a foot. So a good sense of smell to locate their next meal is surely essential.
That's definitely getting a reaction. There's a number of fish have come into that cloud of blood and they're looking around. They want something to chew into, but there's nothing there at the moment. I think time to put a bit of flesh in there for them.
So blood is definitely whetting their appetite. And there may well have been blood in the water from those injured by the impact of the bus crash. Now, I wonder how these piranhas will react to a bloody piece of prime steak.
There we go, it's the first nibble, the first nibble, the first nibble. And there they are, they're all piling in. Once the first one started, there we go, they're all over it now.
Piranhas react to the sound and movement of another piranha feeding, attracting them to the scene and inciting a feeding frenzy. As soon as one piranha takes a bite, it moves away, allowing a fast turnover of feeders and a rapid succession of bites. It's no wonder they are known for stripping their food to the bone in just minutes.
There we go, meat definitely works. I just wonder now how they might react to something that's alive. These piranhas were tearing into a piece of dead meat just a couple of minutes ago, but they're just not interested in me.
This ought to be suicide, but I have a theory about piranhas. Luckily for me, it's holding true.
Look at this! Vai.
As a fisherman, I've often noticed that piranhas are attracted to a catch. On the Teles Pires River in Brazil, a close look at this catfish reveals a fresh piranha bite mark.
You can actually see the shape here. They can tell when a fish is in distress and they go after it.
This animal lives among piranhas every day of its life without getting bitten. Yet thrashing about on the end of my line, it instantly became a target. I think it's the desperate struggle for life that alerts piranhas to easy prey, and which may actually trigger them to attack the weak and helpless, while leaving others well alone. In a remote Brazilian backwater, in a place known as the Piranha Reserve, I've come to meet a family with first-hand experience of a piranha attack.
Mas a gente sabe, né, porque tem que sempre ter cuidado.
Julio tells me it's during the dry season, when the piranhas are both hungry and concentrated, that the danger is greatest.
It is a particular time of year. It's principally the months of September and October here. You can't even get in the water to have a wash.
But on one occasion, this family dropped its guard, with horrific consequences.
It was a grandson of Julio's. Quem estava tratando?
Era a minha esposa.
Eu sei. You're saying, you know, you can't look after kids all the time. His wife was cleaning some fish off the back of the house, and the child just ran, as children do, fell in the water the other side, and he said literally, you know, they heard a noise, they got there, it was already too late. All they said that they saw was just a turbulence in the water of the piranhas devouring the child, just literally moments after the child had fallen off the side of the boat.
Os ossos, né, da criança.
All they got in was bones. E demorou quanto tempo para chegar nesse?
Esse foi rápido.
When I asked how long it took, he said no. This happened very rapidly because there are just so many piranhas here. For most people, piranha behaviour is academic. Few of us will ever take a vacation in the Amazon. But there are monsters every bit as deadly stalking rivers much closer to home. Everybody knows that sharks live in the sea, but there is one species that swims up rivers. And it seems a cruel irony that this shark just happens to be the one that is most dangerous to humans, even more so than the great white.
On a hot summer's night in Queensland, in northeast Australia, two young men decide to go for a swim in a lake. One man reaches the safety of the far shore, but his friend has strayed into deep water. When his body is found, the autopsy reveals he's been struck 3 times by a bull shark. This predator had slipped with ease from the sea into the brackish water of a suburban lake, where it had been free to go about its business unseen. A few weeks later, just as locals are consoling themselves that this was a freak event, a second swimmer is killed by a shark in the same area. The setting for these deadly attacks is an upmarket development where neatly trimmed lawns run down to the water. But it isn't clear how often and how far these known man-eaters are coming into town. An hour's drive away on the Brisbane River, Terry Hesse caught this 9.5-footer literally as it swam in from the sea. If bull sharks are regularly sneaking in, then the mouth of this river should be a good place to try and intercept one.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hello there.
As a freshwater angler with no real experience catching sharks, I'm on a steep learning curve.
Another one there, or?
Terry is kind enough to lend me his heavy-duty gear and share his know-how. But with a broken finger, it's going to be tricky. I'm just hoping this won't be too much of a handicap.
Fish on!
It's 2 a.m. and it feels like I've got a real monster on my line.
At the moment, it just feels like there's a boat on the end. It's just a dead weight.
Holy that is huge! Oh my God!
It's like something from 20,000 leagues under the sea. But what on earth is it?
It's not a shark, but it is an exceptional fish.
It's just remarkable.
That is something, isn't it? Oh, I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's what they call a Queensland groper. It's not the monster I was after, but this is a monster. To me, that just underlines even more than before that, you know, we just have no idea at all what is down there in our rivers.
Although I've yet to see a shark in a river, the ability of one shark species to tolerate fresh water is not in doubt. Bull sharks constantly test the salt content of the water with tiny sensors mounted all over the body. It's similar to the way we use our taste buds. Then, a special organ, the rectal gland, acts like an on-off valve, releasing or retaining salt as required. Fully 80 miles upstream, at a picnic spot popular with bathers, a third attack catches my attention. On this occasion, though, the victim is not a human, but a 1,000-pound racehorse that trainer Alan Treadwell is exercising in the river.
All of a sudden, I saw something hanging off the back of him. As the horse rolled over, the colour lightened and it went to a white underneath.
After a desperate struggle, Alan manages to pull his horse to safety. He barely glimpsed the monster, but he does have a photograph of the wound it left. A potentially vital piece of evidence that I now show to Vic Pedamores, an expert on shark attacks.
Well, I would definitely say it looks like a shark bite of some description. I think this is just a hit with the upper jaw and a slip down.
And can you get any idea from that, roughly how big the shark might have been?
Now, if you look at this tooth there, that tooth there, I mean, it's
a fairly close match.
It's not too far off a match. And this is 2.75 meters in length.
8 or 9 foot.
It's a very similar sort of curvature.
I can't help wondering what would have happened if it had been a person, not a horse, swimming on that day.
I did finally catch a bull shark after 3 weeks.
It was far too small to be the predator that attacked the horse, but in some ways it was more frightening, because the presence of a 3-foot juvenile suggests that these man-eaters are actually breeding in this river.
This, however, was not the end of the shark story. At precisely the same time I was investigating the attacks in Australia, the largest bull shark ever recorded was caught in Africa, from a river.
This 13-footer was newsworthy for more than just its size. The stretch of river where it was caught attracts many holidaymakers, including kite surfers, jet skiers, and swimmers. Understandably, many of the residents wanted the animal dead. But scientists were just as anxious to find out what this huge female shark was doing here, and a dead one would tell them nothing.
I'm just as puzzled as the scientists by what's going on here, and my many years' experience of tracking down and catching monster fish from rivers have got me the unique opportunity to join the investigation. What we find out could help to answer the most important question of all. Is the presence of this known man-eater a human tragedy just waiting to happen?
Shark attacks occur regularly along South Africa's coast, and commonly the culprit is a bull shark. Yet when the science team tagged and then tracked their record-sized river monster, they found it wasn't interested in eating humans. Even though it came to within feet of people standing in thigh-deep water. Its business here was a complete mystery, and with the battery in its tag long dead, we don't even know if the beast is still around.
Something had to go. Yeah, wait a minute. The balloon is gone. It knows it's hooked now. This feels a good sized fish. Oh, wait a minute. What's happened there? Oh, the line is a bit shredded there. Oh, that line is in a bad way.
Within minutes, the shark has half cut through my line on a snag. Now, just a moment's lapse in concentration, and it could snap like cotton.
I'm only on about, I don't know, might only be 50% strength on the line.
My line is wearing through, but if I try to bring the shark in too quickly, I could lose it.
I'm just so nervous because I know the line's not in a good way.
1 hour and 1 mile further upriver.
A friend of mine who's caught bull sharks said to me, bull sharks they're not like something like a mako shark, which is a real speed merchant. A bull shark is very solid, very muscular. It'll just like take you for a walk. I feel like a 6-year-old child taking a Rottweiler for a walk. It's just getting more lively all of a sudden. It's right under the bow. If we can go left, all right. Okay.
3 miles from where I hooked the shark, and it's still pulling the boat.
People who say catching fish doesn't cause any pain, which they're wrong. My back is killing me. Not to mention where the rod butt is jammed. Oh dear. It's going to be an interesting colour, I think, after the end of all this.
As the afternoon slowly passes, the huge fish drags our boat several miles upriver.
This is totally not normal in a river. I had a giant stingray on for 2 hours, but we've gone past that. It must be now 2 3/4 now.
The fight is now heading towards its 3rd hour, and the shark has taken the boat and me 4 miles upriver.
It might come up, it might come up. Coming towards the surface. That's the tail, that's the fish. Dorsal and tail, dorsal and tail. First time it's broken the surface. It's going to show again. That's the dorsal. Ah, wait, it's under the boat, it's under the boat. Back, please, back, 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 back. So last, here we go. Right, now absolute concentration. If I say let go, just let go, all right? Okay. Give me that.
Sharks sink in water, so the gaff is necessary to hold the head up, but it barely punctures the tough skin.
Bloody hell! It's not really gaff, is it? This is going to break the gaff. It's going to break the bloody gaff.
This shark has battled with me for 3.5 hours and dragged the boat 5 miles up the river.
Get to the bank, I think.
We just need to get to the bank. You guys need to get off.
Never had a fight anywhere like that long before. That's almost double the longest fight I had with a freshwater stingray. And those things just glue themselves to the bottom. Wow. Right, the gaff's now out. Right. I need the thing, sorry.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Sharks can't actually pump water over their gills, so I'm wedging the mouth open with a bit of wood and just shoving water in its mouth. Yeah,
It's a male bull shark, 9 feet 10 inches long and more than 500 pounds. The biggest fish I've ever caught and one of the largest male bull sharks ever landed. By tagging it and then tracking it over the next few days, we finally discover the astonishing truth of what's really happening here, below the surface.
according to the hydrophone, the fish is right under that boat.
Rather than waste energy chasing free-swimming fish, the sharks have learnt to shadow fishing boats and snatch easy meals off anglers' lines. A bit like plucking fruit from a tree.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Teeth marks there, the enemy in its mouth.
It's a highly specific and intelligent way of feeding. But just as extraordinary is the fact that these known man-eaters are leaving us well alone. At least for now.
While dangerous fish are normally the object of my quest, the quest itself can often be just as deadly as any man-eating monster. I'm gonna have to go for a swim. In pursuit of my passion, I've certainly had a few close shaves, surviving a plane crash in the Amazon, and almost dying of malaria deep in the Congo. But while I choose to do what I do, for many of the fishermen I meet, it's very different. Simply to survive, they must take risks that even I would consider insane.
The fishermen of the River Kwai in Thailand are among the bravest I have ever met. Instead of hunting their quarry from the safety of a boat, they use a spear gun and engage in the fishing equivalent of hand-to-hand combat. And they're not after any old fish. They're hunting a monster with a ferocious temper and teeth to match. The snakehead. Its appearance in American waterways 10 years ago sparked widespread alarm.
Watch your children, watch your pets.
But I discovered that the snakeheads in the US were more pest than killer. They simply did not live up to the hype. The same, however, cannot be said for the larger snakehead species. The giant snakehead is a beast that can weigh as much as a 5-year-old child, and it comes with a nasty reputation. In Thailand, I meet Sombat, a man who's been mugged by this animal. He's under his raft to replace a piece of rotten bamboo when he senses something behind him. With no spear gun to defend himself, he's face to face with a giant snakehead. And before he can move, it strikes at his foot.
It was actually bleeding so bad that he went to the hospital. The people there didn't believe that it was a fish that was responsible. They thought it was a dog and actually ended up giving him rabies jab. So, I mean, what we've got here is a very dramatic example of what appears to be a completely unprovoked attack.
Yet the assault on Sombat may not be as mindless as it seems. At a small floating village, I meet Kundar, a man with 20 years' experience hunting these aggressive fish and an unrivaled knowledge of their behavior. He explains to me that snakeheads fiercely defend their young, not alone, but in pairs. While the father sticks close to the mass of baby fish, the mother patrols at a distance, ready to attack anything that comes close.
What's interesting is that this is coming from somebody who is actually observing these creatures closer than any scientist, and the reason for that is not only his livelihood, but possibly his life depends on it.
Down in the murk, you really have to watch your back. The key feature of Dar's homemade gun is that he can rearm it quickly for a second shot, because these snakeheads won't hesitate to take on a human. It's during the breeding season that they're especially aggressive. Fisherman Kun Lang tells me about a man who came here 3 years ago to hunt snakeheads, with tragic consequences.
So what actually happened was that the fisherman was under the water with his spear gun, shot a snakehead head on, and actually scored a direct hit. The fish then just kept on coming and shoved the rear end of the metal spear through the fisherman's mask and into his face. Fish doesn't have a reverse gear, it just kept flapping. Apparently the spear actually came out the back of the man's head. The wife was still sitting in the boat, dived down into the water and found the fisherman dead.
With this gruesome story fresh in my mind, I'm now poised to swim down into the snakehead's lair. It's the wet season, so the snakeheads should be guarding their latest broods. Dar scans the water. The fry periodically surface to gulp air, creating a slight disturbance. Amidst the waves, he somehow picks out this fleeting signal, and the hunt can begin.
I'm getting a bit nervous. It is totally another world down there.
My plan is to shadow Kundar with a camera as he attempts to catch a giant snakehead with nothing more than an old dive mask and a homemade spear gun. When he slips in and disappears, he leaves me racing to catch up. Bad weather has churned the water into a murky soup. And with Dar gone, I feel a stab of panic. I could easily wind up getting harpooned by mistake. The poor visibility is even hampering Dar.
It's murky down there, it's murky.
I'm having second thoughts about this. I'm starting to feel like human bait. But it's too late to pull out now. Dar is a man on a mission. When the fry break the surface barely a boat length away, we dive again. But our quarry has vanished into the murk, leaving Dar to hunt on instinct. Dar loads. I can sense we're close. Suddenly, we're in the heart of the swarm, waiting to be attacked.
I think we've got one. I'm going to keep out of the way. I'm going to keep out of the way.
With a single well-aimed shot, Dar has caught a giant snakehead. Despite taking a direct hit, the fish just seems to shrug it off.
Oops, something like that.
Having listened to accounts of its aggressive behaviour and seen for myself the scars on Sombat's foot, I'm well aware of what this river monster is capable of.
Sitting in a boat, dangling a line over the edge, believe me, is easy in comparison.
But the giant snakehead is by no means the scariest monster I've encountered. In the heart of Africa lurks a fish with the combined strength, speed and ferocity of all the river monsters I have ever encountered. The Congo is undoubtedly the roughest and most unnerving place I've ever been. In many ways, it's a fitting haunt for what many consider to be the world's most diabolical freshwater fish.
I first went to the Congo 25 years ago in search of a murderous-looking beast that is, in effect, a supersized piranha. But after 2 months, I came back empty-handed. It was all I could do to get in and out of this forbidding place alive. Then, when I started filming river monsters, I had the opportunity to go back and attend to some unfinished business.
But a new story that I'd heard of a young girl almost bitten in half was a grisly reminder of what I was up against. My plan is to travel 300 miles up the Congo River into the interior of this vast continent, and then catch the monster in question, a Goliath tigerfish. Known locally as the Mbenga, this ferocious predator is renowned for its speed and power.
Basin here got some pretty serious treble hooks, and I'll be using, this kind of wire. If I was just to use ordinary fishing line down to the hooks, the Goliath tigerfish is just going to chomp straight through it.
The monster I'm after is a powerful predator that typically hunts on the edge of fast-flowing water.
Fish on! It might be off. Damn, it's off. Wow. That's the kind of thing you'd expect to see if you're shark fishing.
The Goliath tigerfish is a monster that's said to spit out even the strongest, sharpest hooks.
Ah! Failed to get a good hook up.
And for the next 2 weeks, my quarry fully lives up to its tough reputation.
Fish on! Hey! That's what they do. That's what they do.
With nothing but ripped and punctured baits, I'm once again staring at defeat.
3 takes, no fish.
Of all the deadly fish that I've pursued, a large Mbenga is the one I most want to get my hands on. It is, for anglers, a kind of holy grail, and I'm damned if I'm going home again, empty-handed.
gotta keep pressure from above because there's rocks, and I've got. It's gonna jump. It's gonna jump. That's the float. Gonna see the fish very soon. Gonna see the fish very soon. There it is. That's a good fish. Look at that. The net. The net. The net. Careful, Fred, careful, careful, careful. Right, we want to be very careful now. Ready for the net. We want to get the head in. La tête, la tête. Oh, segurez le poisson. Bon. Agora. Okay. We got the fish, we got the fish. All we've got to worry about now is it biting its way out. The mouth is going, the fish is breathing, that's good. Ah, those teeth! That will just take lumps out of other fish, it will take lumps out of crocodiles even, and there are stories well documented about taking lumps out of people. What I'm looking at here is the ultimate piranha. Those teeth, just like a piranha's, triangular, sharp blades down the side, and they interlock. They interlock almost like scissors. They will just cut a lump out. As with every catch, my goal is to have a look and then release the fish safely back into the water. Oh, yes. Yes. My guide, Fred, has just realised my intention. No. É muito grande, muito grande. We're having a little bit of a discussion here because Fred thought that we were going to take it back to the village for everyone to eat. And I must admit that is quite a nice idea. He tells me this fish has been given to us by God. It's not just our village, it's the people over the river who've been helping. You know, it would make everybody happy. But it wouldn't, it wouldn't make me, well, it would in one way, but it would make me more happy to put this back. It's going to upset him as well if he sees this swim away. I'm trying to explain the important thing for me is to see it and not to kill it. I think it's very, it's very important that animals that we find frightening in appearance, that we try and understand them. We don't just hack them to pieces and kill them and then look at the dead body. I mean, I want to look at this thing alive and then see it swim off. After an hour, the decision is taken from me as I feel the life slipping away from this monster. It's not going to make it. So, I mean, the good thing is, although the fish has died, it won't be going to waste. To the people of the Congo, the Mbenga is much more than just a fish. It is a spirit that pervades their folklore. Many people here, I now realise, have never seen this monster in the flesh. For my guide, Fred, returning this fish would have meant much more than just losing a meal. Albeit a meal that will now feed an entire village. What can I see?
Vous voyez, c'est la chance.
Ah, la chance, hein?
C'est ça. C'est la bouche.
It's never good when a fish dies, but when it gets that kind of reaction, when you bring it in, that's a big meal for lots of people. That's about 200 and odd people in this village. I think they're all going to have a piece of that. A lot of these people actually as well, they won't have seen a fish like that, or certainly not a good sized one. They've heard about it. It is a legend, but they don't see them very often. So, if a fish has to die, or if a fish does die, at least, a reaction like that is some sort of compensation. It's not the ending that I wanted, but it is fitting in a way. It's perfectly natural to fear such predators. The question is what we do with that fear. I never wanted to kill this fish, but all too often our knee-jerk reaction is to do just that, to eliminate the danger. Many river people, however, understand that this is not the answer. They instinctively know that the presence of apex predators is the sign of a healthy ecosystem. I believe that now, more than at any time in the past, our greatest challenge is learning to live with other life, including monsters. Because the day the last monster dies is the day the river dies too.
In the fading light, I finally set eyes on this strange-looking beast.